Today, we're looking at what traffic is worth pursuing, what traffic is not pursuing based on our personal experience on the type of traffic and ads that we purchase and how it comes into your site. We're looking at Google Analytics for the terralliance.ca page, and what you can see here, this is for this year coming in, and you can see all of the different sources. I'm going to show you how we got here first. When you come into Google Analytics, you show up on the home, which is right here. That doesn't help us. So we're going to go to reports. We're going to go down to acquisitions, and then we're going to go down to traffic acquisition right here. That's going to pull up this report, which is really not that helpful. I appreciate that it's paid, it's social, but there are so many breakdowns in how this works that we're going to look differently at it. So we're going to go to this little bar here, and we're going to change it to session source and medium. We're going to change rows per page from 10 to 250 so that I can see all of the traffic that's coming in, even if it's not very much. And then we're going to take a look at what traffic I think was valid and what traffic wasn't. So the first thing to look at is Facebook. And the reason I break it out by medium is because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions. And if you just go by source, it will lump them together. And that doesn't help us very much. And I'm going to explain what the different Facebook referrals and paid are so that you have a better understanding of what you're trying to do and what you're not trying to do. Oh, and then direct, we're going to dismiss because it doesn't really help us. A lot of it could be bought. Some of it can be from places like mails that come in or just redirects, that sort of idea. But we're going to see that engagement is low in that. So we're not going to pay attention too much to directs. We're going to look at sources that we can actually identify. So let's get started. The first one here is Facebook mobile. As you can see, I have Facebook mobile referral. I have Facebook paid. I have an LM, which is Facebook mobile traffic that goes through its LinkShim service. LinkShim service is a service that Facebook has to protect users against malicious URL. This is really valid traffic. It's not going to be a bot. It's going to be a real user. The same with the L here. This is desktop traffic that's coming through the LinkShim service. That's what the L stands for. So we're going to see engagement higher on these than we're going to see it on other spots because we know that it was a real user that was pushed through that service to protect them, which means that they probably are not a bot. So right off the bat, mobile traffic coming from Facebook that doesn't go through that LinkShim service is horrible. We can see we get lots of traffic from it. These are reels. These are people seeing our posts on Facebook. But I'm going to say most of them are bots. And I can tell that because despite the traffic we get, engagement is 6 seconds. And you want to confirm this on yours because this average engagement time per session, I think, is one of the most important metrics to determine quality of traffic and where you want to put your energy. The higher that number, the more likely that they are an engaged user and they are doing something on your site, taking the time, and will probably fill out a form or turn into an actual lead that you can follow up with. We're going to say Google organic traffic is actually way better than the Facebook traffic that we saw up here. 46 seconds of engagement, and engagement rate is 56%. So half of the users coming in are engaged on our site and they stick around on average for 46 seconds. This is Google paid. And so you have to make this measurement. Do I spend time and energy developing my SEO strategy, or do I just buy the traffic? Now, we're in a small town of 50,000 people. I know that's not super small, but it's small enough that you can buy your traffic relatively inexpensively. What you have to weigh is how big of an area am I in? How much competition do I have for words that convert, like keywords? So you can go super long tail, which would be something like looking for condos in Toronto that have a pool, workout room, and 3 bedrooms down near King Street. Like if they typed that whole thing in and you decided to compete for that word, I don't know how many people are actually searching for that. You could probably compete for that because it's so long tail and it would be an exact search, but there wouldn't be a lot of people searching for it, right? So to make that strategy work, you have to find hundreds of those long tail keywords, and then you have to create content that fits all of that long tail keyword structure, and then you have to put those pages online for people to find, and then they have to link to something that's going to allow them to convert. So that is a lot of work. If you're in a small town, you might be able to compete for something easy like Tweed real estate and rank really high for it because nobody else is competing against you. With cost per click, you can just buy the word, right? You can just buy Belleville real estate, looking for homes in Belleville, homes for sale in Belleville. Like you can buy those words and pay for them. And so what you have to gauge is how much work and money do I have to spend to compete for the organic compared to just how much does it cost for me to buy the traffic and convert it into a lead? And how often do I do that? For us, we've done both over the years. Over time, the brokerages and the large franchisors have come in to compete against us too. So it's really hard to compete against a franchisor like Royal LePage, who has the authority and size of site to instantly gain that position when they create a page around Belleville. So organic is much harder than it used to be. We can buy that traffic relatively inexpensively here and drive it to a conversion. So we tend to do that more. However, organic traffic is better, 46 seconds on our site versus pay-per-click, 28 seconds per. So we could spend time making sure that our ads are more likely to create higher engagement and convert when they get to the site. And to do that, we look at what the ad says, where the ad sends them. So where the ad sends them needs to match really well with the ad, right? So we have a high intent ad tied to a page that matches that high intent when they get there. So they find what they're looking for and it leads them down a journey that converts. That's your goal. That's what you're trying to accomplish. Facebook paid, you can see Facebook paid is 22 seconds, way better than the long link shim version of mobile traffic from Facebook. So again, not bad, not quite as good as Google cost per click. And I've heard this over and over again that Facebook traffic is not as good as Google traffic, which we can confirm is true. We're likely to do more business from Google than from Facebook for a similar dollar amount. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying that it's not traffic that you can work with. It's just not as good or tends to not be as good. And then now we look at the link shim versions of the Facebook traffic. So again, these are traffic that comes from Facebook that has gone through Facebook's link shim service that protects the user from malicious links. So it's protecting the user from a bad website. Naturally, that's going to be better traffic because it's a real person. Facebook's not going to protect a bot. They're going to protect a real person. So that traffic right off the bat, you can see for mobile is twice the engagement. I still don't consider this all that good. And we've heard this over and over again too, that mobile traffic is nowhere near as good as desktop traffic. If somebody has proof that's not true, then please send it my way. I'd love to see what you're doing because I think we'd all love to be able to convert mobile traffic better. But desktop traffic, you can see, is just massive in comparison for engagement. And this is the traffic we tend to convert to. If they come in via desktop, they're way more likely to convert. Now, something could be true with that statement. One, maybe our site just sucks for mobile, and that's possible. I don't think that's true, but it is possible. And so if that's the case, then great. The other thing that could be true is maybe our content on mobile is not very good at creating engagement when they arrive at the site, which is very possibly true, right? A reel is short and obviously can't contain the same amount of information, authority, and impact that long form video does. And we have heard this over and over again, that long form content tends to convert better than short form content. Short form content is much better to get initial engagement, but it doesn't build as much authority. And so we see that on YouTube too. So I'm going to say that those two factors make Facebook desktop better traffic to get. So would I invest more time into Facebook long form traffic? Yes, I would. Facebook traffic not through the link shim service, again, really sucky. So I'm going to say they're bots. They're not real. They're not on the site long enough to do it. Wake Up Network, have no idea who they are, but they sent a lot of referrals to us and the people that stayed a long time. So I'm going to have to check them out. Instagram paid, again, horrible traffic. I know some people do business off of Instagram. We've done some business off of Instagram, but we're not really Instagram people. And I think this is an important lesson for everybody. If you're not into the platform, and for those that say Facebook is dead, just message me. Send me an email saying that you think it's dead, and I will send you the latest report from Metacool analyzing billions of social posts from all the platforms. And Facebook is still just killing it. It's just, the platform never died. It's like people saying email's dead. Facebook is not dead. The engagement on Facebook is better than most of the other platforms that are out there and still converts better than most. So don't give up on Facebook. Don't think it's dead. It's like email. Like every so often I hear a report come out saying email is dead. The young people aren't using it. They don't need to use it. They don't have jobs. Of course, they're not using email. Why would you use email if you don't have anybody sending you emails? But as soon as they get into the workforce, they adopt email, and then they're all using email and they communicate via email. You don't use the tool until you need the tool. Facebook is the same sort of way. The people that are buying homes are still using Facebook, and Facebook is not declining at any rate. It is still the largest social network out there with the highest amount of users and has fantastic engagement. So don't give up on it, is what I'm saying, just because there tends to be a trend to say something's dying. Check the stats yourself. Check the stats yourself. Bing. What always surprised me, engagement is great from Bing. We don't do anything with Bing. We get organic traffic from it. It never drives a lot of traffic. You can see we're down to 153 visitors, so it's not super relevant. Same with Instagram. Engagement is low, 24 for referral. But it's way better than Instagram paid. And so I would not pay for Instagram posts, which we don't anymore. You can see we did it like a few times. I saw that the traffic was abysmal in how it performed, and we just dropped it. But I would do the natural stuff because it's not going to take us too much work to do. Sending it through the link shim did not improve it very much, right? Let's see. Bay of Quinte today sent us some traffic. Engagement was high on it. This was a newsletter, like a local newsletter from our area. And we wanted to see how well it performed. We ran ads on it for a year. So this was an entire year worth of traffic, 51 visits. We got one deal from it, which is actually really good. But you can see their engagement was high. MailerLite. So again, here, this is where we get into ChatGPT. They sent us 16 visits this year. Engagement was high, very high, 75%. However, time on site was really low, 22 seconds. So I found that really interesting. So it does speak to the fact that because engagement was 75% to our site, that chat content or AI traffic is going to be pretty good. Like they're down here as well. 42% engagement with 50 seconds on the site. Like those are this is pretty good traffic. And I think it will convert when it becomes large enough traffic to matter. So now we're getting into stuff that is just so small, it just doesn't matter anymore. Okay, so what's the summary on this? Look at your traffic carefully. 6 seconds is not valuable traffic. And if you're spending a ton of time and energy trying to generate this traffic, like so mobile traffic from Facebook, the very best of that traffic is 15 seconds on the site, 36% engagement. That's horrible. Like I would not spend a lot of time with that. However, if I can create content that goes to the desktop instead of the mobile, engagement on a 64%, and they stick around for a minute, right? That is really great traffic. So where do I spend my time and energy creating content? It is not short form video content. For Facebook, it's going to be longer form content, and it's going to be specific to who I need. So we've heard in the past, nobody wants to watch your listing video. I call bullshit on that. Who wants to watch a listing video? A buyer. Who do I want to talk to? A buyer. That is high intent, specific traffic that is likely to convert to either selling the home or to becoming somebody that we can work with and help buy a home. I want that traffic. I could put out all sorts of content that everybody wants to see that doesn't generate business for me. What I want to do is create content that's going to generate business for me. That could be long form content that is evergreen. So what's the process of buying a home, or what's the process of selling a home is an example of that. Sticks around for a long time, evergreen. It's always of interest. People are always looking for it. And it's also high intent because somebody who's going to take the time to watch it is probably somebody that's interested in buying or selling their home. A listing video, as everybody would say, it's so boring. It's only boring to the people who don't want to buy a home. Somebody looking for a home, and specifically for that type of home, are going to be incredibly interested in it, and they're going to be incredibly likely to act on it. And that is the specific person that I'm actually trying to get, right? I'm trying to work with. So I'm okay with low views on a listing video if it's hitting the exact people I need to hit. Just keep that in mind. Never listen to the statement that nobody wants to see your listing videos. The person who wants to see your listing videos is exactly the person you should be looking for. So look at the quality of your traffic, look at where it's going, and then decide that's where I'm going to invest my energy and that's where I'm going to invest my time. All these other things that you think you should do are noise. Right? They're just noise out there. You have to do this. You have to do that. No, you don't have to do anything. except for look at your traffic. You have to look at your traffic and decide what's valuable for you to do and what's not valuable for you to do. And then when you have that decision, then you structure your calendar, then you structure your content, then you structure what you're going to do and where you're going to invest your time and energy and money, right? Once you do that, then you can save yourself a whole bunch of work to do. There's your goal here with everything you do is to try and go, how do I not do the things I'm not supposed to do? So I free up the time to do the things that I want to do and still have time to do it with my family. That's your goal. And you only do that by knowing where you need to put your energy. Okay, rant done. If anybody has questions about this, just let me know.